Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons, where you can sign up to be a member of the Shannons Club, your local Holden certified service centre, Pace Farm the enjoyable egg, and Heron Forbes Machinery House, where you can buy online. G'day, I'm Fletch and welcome to Chryslers on the Murray for 2024. In this week's episode of Classic Restos, on the road. 2024 is a big year for Chryslers on the Murray, as it represents 100 years for Chrysler. The Chrysler Corporation was officially formed by Walter P. Chrysler on June 6, 1925, out of the Maxwell Motor Corporation. But the first Chrysler car was introduced in 1924. Even then, as its first car, it stood ahead of the competitors. In fact, the first Chrysler was mechanically revolutionary. It was first to offer a new, bold style, and didn't that concept remain over the decades? The car offered more power for its size, hydraulic brakes on all four wheels, an oil filter in conjunction with a full pressurised oil lubricating system, an air cleaner, aluminium pistons, even shock absorbers, and that was the first year to be proudly badged Chrysler. Chrysler was a corporation of engineers which encompassed a pretty cool timeline over the decades, because Chrysler just didn't build cars and trucks. Chrysler's diversity stood unsurpassed. Their services were used throughout World War II with vehicles and systems, radar antennas and missiles, then in later years being strategically involved in space programs such as space boosters, the development of the Series 1 Hemi engine in the 1950s, the later generation 426 Hemi released in 1966, the Chrysler turbine car, and the history of excellent quality big block blue-printed V8 engines from factory, small block designs, robust 6-cylinder engines, and the list goes on. Chrysler always had dependability in mind. Here's an early 1920s Dodge in the United States of America, showing us just some of the road conditions that the cars endured back then. Imagine our sedans today doing this. How cool was that? Incredible conditions back then. Now, speaking of cool, there's no better way to start Chryslers on the Murray each year, in my opinion, than here Friday at the DECA, just inside Victoria, where the entrants get a little chance to push a bit harder. And with me now we have the clerk, of course. How are you, Dave?
Good, Fletch. How are you this morning?
Good, mate, good. Now, the boys are out there on the track. What is this all about? Please explain.
Well, Fletch, I'm from the Albury Wodonga District Car Club, and every year we run a lap dash for the Chryslers on the Murray. This is the day the boys can take their cars out on the track and let loose. Can't do this on the road, fellas, but we can here today. So we'll have 40 cars doing a lap dash. The aim is to get a fast time for the day. We'll work out the results on the fastest time of each car for the day, and here's fingers crossed they all get a good run for the whole day.
Dave, the age of the cars and some of the work that's been done to the cars, even in stock form, it's quite surprising how well they perform out there.
Look, what we look for here with the Chryslers is the ones going down the main straight. There's some big horsepower stuff here, and it's great to see them heading off down there. And like I say, let's hope they all last the day.
And Dave, it's always interesting in the twisty stuff too, right?
Yes, the twisty stuff can catch a few out, and brakes are important too. Sometimes they get a little bit warm and they have to come in and cool down and have another crack.
Good on you, Dave. You do a great job every year here at the DECA, and thanks for the info, mate. Have a great weekend too, by the way.
You too, Fletch.
Thanks,
See you later.
Cheers. And the Albury Wodonga Chrysler Club has done it again. One of the smaller car clubs that puts on one of the biggest shows in Australia. It's Friday night here and it's time for the big reveal. It's a chance for new builds to make their debut or establish cars that have just been done so well.
I spend a lot of time out here. The RT Charger's the real deal. An E49. Remember A-Charger? I've always got projects on the go, so Shannon's laid-up cover helps protect my restorations. I'm Mopar through and through. It's a passion Shannon's understands. I wouldn't insure my cars and bikes with anyone else.
Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts. Call 13 46 46 for a quote.
When it comes to cars, there are some brands that will remain with us forever, no matter what. The Holden was always Australia's own car, held high in the hearts of many. Those lines, that chrome, the stories around them, and the people that owned them. From the classic through to the final, you can still trust in genuine Holden and AC Delco parts, available through the Holden Certified Service Network. In 2024, why not consider a Detroit tour with Fletch? Detroit, the automotive epicentre. It will leave you gobsmacked. Imagine experiencing where automotive history on a grand scale began. Stay in fine accommodation, taking in some of the best museums and private car collections on the planet. Book your 2024 Detroit tour with Fletch. Email fletchtours@mail.com. Well, here we go, Saturday morning and day 2 of Chryslers on the Murray for 2024. Of course, celebrating 100 years of Chrysler, and spotlight emphasis this year on the VE, VF and VG models. 3 years that really helped Chrysler Australia, got them pumping leading up to the 1970s. Well, the cars are lining up behind me, almost knocking on the doors of 1,000 cars this year, and it's as though the entrants have got to drive north to Holbrook because that's where the queue starts. There's just so many supporting this year's event. And of course, the spotlight emphasis this year, VE, VF and VG, Val. Had to pick on this guy here. How are you, John?
Good, Fletch, and yourself?
Good, thank you, mate. Beautiful example of a VE VIP. What a beautiful car.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Picked it up in 92. It was a special order by the Yugoslavian embassy in ISIS yellow with black interior, black vinyl roof. So
it's amazing you've told me that. I would never have thought for a moment that this car was a different colour once. This looks like it's just rolled out of the showroom back in '68, which happened to be too Car of the Year as well.
absolutely. I guess it's the clean lines that mask the old paint.
They're just beautiful. I love the VE. Even around the back, the shape of the tail lights, very American, very Plymouth. And because, of course, Plymouth, well, they made the Valiants in the US.
That's right, that's right. Different different lights, different grille.
Based off the Dart.
Same overall aspects.
Dodge Dart, sitting here. It's a beautiful car. Now, the interior of the car as well, in 68, we were really starting to step things up, weren't we? Cars,
Correct.
we started receiving these sumptuous interiors. I think the VE VIP really represented that mark well.
Well, the buckets, the console, the headrest, which was part of the Car of the Year award, Fletch. So,
Also, too, down to the little things too. I love your number plate, VIP 273. And the 273, the small block V8 with the adjustable rockers, are sought after now, funny enough. The 273 used to be overlooked, and 318, 360 used to rule a bit of the supremacy. But
strange.
what a bulletproof little engine, the 273.
yeah, coupled with the 904, good little package, nice cruiser.
John, thank you very much for sharing this VIP with us. Look, I love this car. I really think it's one of the finest examples of a VIP that you're going to see here on the paddock this weekend. That's a big call because we are approaching 1,000 cars.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Time for Bill now. Hello, mate.
How you going, Fletch? How are you?
Good, nice under a bit of shade
Yeah,
here.
it's good, ain't it? Yeah, you can't survive without it.
I'm glad you brought this portable shade with you.
Yeah, she does wood.
Now, Bill, I want to make you the VF of the episode. I thought this is a beautiful example here. We've got a 1969 VF Pacer. We're back here with the slant six. We've got the 3-speed gearbox. What a beautiful example, mate.
Yeah, it's a great car. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, they were really well thought of, you know, when they put them out there, when they made them. Yeah.
How long have you had it now?
Nearly 14 years. Yeah.
Still a good car. You enjoy driving it?
I love it, mate. I love driving it. Yeah, it's really good. It is good. I've got other cars at home, but yeah, we love driving this. And even my wife, Kim, she drives it. Yeah.
Isn't that a testament to the quality that came out of Tonsley Park so long ago? 1969, we're driving a product today in 2024, still feels great to drive.
It does. It feels great. It feels real good. Yeah. And you do it easy. Like it'll sit on 110 k's on the highway, no problems whatsoever.
The interior as well, still factory from the day. Absolute beautiful example there as well. And again, they still look good, don't they?
Yeah,
Like
they
they're a sporty looking car.
Yeah, they are. I honestly think the VFs handle better than the VGs. That's my own personal opinion.
Could be engine up front, dynamic slightly different.
Yeah, a little bit different. Yeah, the weight. Yeah, transmission. But no, but they're good. I love them. They're really good, Fletch.
We've got your wife Kim here. She goes around with you as well, which is awesome. Thanks again, Bill. Great catching up with you, mate.
Thanks, Fletch. It's a pleasure.
And it's time now for a 1971 VG. How are you, Con?
Yeah, good. Having a blast, yeah. Yeah.
Enjoying yourself so far?
Yeah, love it. Been coming here for a few years now, so enjoy the day, friends, yeah.
Good on you, Con. Nice, straightforward VG here. I love it because of the steely wheels. Got a bit of a tough look about it. V8 up front as well. What size 8?
It's a 318, yeah, just very mild.
That's good, Con. That's good. And 318, it's good that you've kept the cubes there to represent the year. Being a 71 VG too, pretty well last of the run for the VG too.
Yeah, I think it would be, yeah, and then they obviously changed shape and, the Aussie VHs. Yeah, so
the VE, VF and VG really set a very strong platform in that late 60s, ready to catapult into the early 1970s, didn't they?
yeah, I just sort of tend to lean on this sort of earlier shape.
These cars too, like you say, they're a bit lighter than the 70s cars as well. They're just slightly more of a slimline type of design. A real rocket ship with a nice engine. They always performed well, didn't they?
Yeah, look, I love the way it actually handles as well and the way it travels. Everyone thinks, oh, it's a tank, it's a big car. It's actually not. It's actually very, very nimble.
I love how you've got the stock interior, headrests in the back. That's a nice touch as well. They really are they're a smart car. I can remember them as a kid growing up as well, and remembering them as brand new cars, you know. And yeah, they made a statement back then, and they still do today.
I love them, yeah.
Good on you, Con.
Yeah, thank you so much, Fletch. Good on you.
And enjoy Rest of Chrysler on the Murray for this year, yeah?
Yeah, we will. Trust me, we will. Thank you.
Now, I mentioned Zoe. The least I could do is have Zoe on the show. Zoe, you want to share with us your age?
14.
14 years of young.
Yeah.
And your passion for these cars is very strong. You've been to just about every Chrysler on the Murray so far, haven't you?
Yeah, I love them.
Yeah. Okay. Now, through your eyes, tell us, why do you love these old cars?
I don't know, they're just cool, and I can't believe people used to drive these cars around.
I love this because a lot of people make mention of the younger generation coming through, and it's we've got to keep this whole thing going, and it's people like Zoe that's going to do that. So I just want to thank you for your enthusiasm to keep on turning up here at Cros on the Murray. I know there's going to be some L plates on this car one day. There's probably going to be a P plate on there as well, right?
Yeah, I'm going to drive this car to Albury. 1 year.
Zoe, you take care, Dale, and thank you very much for your enthusiasm, and let's keep it going in the hobby, hey?
Thanks, Fletch.
Saturday afternoon, and it's nothing for up to around 400 cars to leave Gateway Lakes and cruise out to the Tabletop Hotel, or formerly the Wodonga Pub, north of Albury. Here at the Tabletop Hotel, formerly the Wodonga Pub, was built by businessman Lindsay Cooper and first opened back in 1987. The objective was to create a themed family restaurant which would eventually become a tourist attraction. The timber building featured sloping walls and a distinctive style true to the original cartoon design. Here we are, the Tabletop Hotel, formerly the Wodonga Pub. We have the events coordinator. How are you, Kirby?
I'm good, Fletch. How are you?
Wonderful. What's your thoughts? All these Chrysler people coming out here and supporting the pub.
It's very exciting to see the crowds out here today. It looks to be at least 400 plus people here, so it's amazing to have the doors open of the old pub and let people see the insides of the old Wodonga Pub.
What's your thoughts of the Chrysler people coming here every year, supporting the pub, turning up?
Yeah.
What do you think of that?
It's great for the Albury-Wodonga general region, bringing money into the local economy, obviously, and supporting keeping our doors open. I think that's the biggest thing coming from a small country town, country pub.
Now, I love the architecture on the place. It's just so bizarre. I think the guy that designed it and built it, I think he might have had a few before he started the job.
Potentially, but it is something different. It's very quirky when you look at the atmosphere. There's photos here from when it opened. Some of the names of the walls that have been written from back when it was opened in 1985, I think it was. Steve, that you can hopefully see behind me, has been working here on and off for those 35 years. So it's amazing having someone local that knows the history behind the place to come and have a chinwag with. So, no, it's good.
Kirby, thanks again for taking the time out. Really appreciate it.
Not a problem. Thanks for having me, Fletch.
Not only do around about 400 entrants of Chryslers on the Murray each year leave Gateway Lakes and come out to the Tabletop Hotel, but there's a photo shoot each year at the back of the pub as well. Now, this year the spotlight emphasis is on VE, VF and VG models, and there's around a couple of hundred of them over here, all parked up and ready for their photo shoot, which is extra special. Now, no stranger to classic Restos. It's been many, many years since we've had Andrew on the show with his beautiful CM. How are you, Andrew?
Yeah, not too bad, Fletch. And yourself?
Good, mate, good. Now, give us a rundown on maybe what you've done since and the time I saw you last.
Yeah, so over the last 12 months, I had to do a little bit of overhauling here on the engine. As you can see here, this new Utilux hose clamp, they're 1 inch. They're actually obsolete now, they're hard to get, but they were made specifically for the motor car industry. The hot box gasket is that it had failed and I had to pull it out. What makes it difficult when you're doing the hot box gasket is that they're supposed to be torqued up to a certain amount, and they've got there's a special sort of lock tab washer to stop the bolts from coming loose, but practically it's very difficult to use them and get access to them, so most people probably tend to go without them. The other thing we had to change was the flap damper here on the snorkel. That there's been a few gaskets and seals done on it, Fletch. Just 23 years ago, this engine had work done on it, and so it's just age and heat and years, and it just all catches up with it. So it's not looking too bad there now. We've resolved all of those issues.
Good on you, Andrew. Thank you very much, mate. That's so informative, and I'm so glad I caught up with you, buddy. Thank you.
Yep, and good to catch up with you too, Fletch.
Thank you, mate. Thank you.
When I was a kid, I loved cars. Still do. The 57 Cadillac Eldorado Brougham was the most advanced car in the world. Cost more than a Rolls. Hand-built with a stainless steel roof, cruise control, electric seats, and would you believe, air suspension. American iron. It's a passion Shannons understand. That's why they insure my daily drive, the caddy, my bike, even the house.
Call Shannons on 13 46 46. Shannons, insurance for motoring enthusiasts.
They may not be making the classic Holden anymore, but the legacy lives on. You can still have a Holden certified service using genuine Holden and AC Delco quality parts at over 180 centres across Australia. Go to holden.com.au to find your nearest centre. Book your Holden in, maintain the pride. And of course, if you own a classic, it just has to be insured with Shannons. Why not pick up the phone and give Shannons a call for a quote and a chat on 134646. And the Shannons Club awaits you. For more information, visit shannons.com.au. Well, here we are once again as entrants gather for Sunday, day 3 of Chryslers on the Murray for 2024. With me now we have Jerry and an immaculate stock standard 1971 Plymouth. What a beautiful car. I love this. How are you, buddy?
Good, Fletch. Good to see you, mate.
Thank you very much. You love this car. You've had it a little while. You've done a few things to it, but it just reminds me of a cop car. If this was black and white, if this was a panda car, it's something off a movie.
A lot of American TV shows in the early 70s had these as police cars, and I love watching the reruns on TV and YouTube.
Jerry, such a nice shaped car, aren't they?
It's beautiful and it's unique in the sense it's first of the fuselage stylage for 71. Yep. So a bit of a detour from what they used to be, so not as boxy but still very flowy.
Yeah, it's the era where they started to become puffy and became, well, essentially bigger cars, larger cars, heavier cars, especially when we start looking at the fuselage and the C-body, that different category again. But just a nice looking car. Are you happy with it?
Oh, I love it.
Stock as a rock, 318 V8, under the hood, 4-barrel carb. It's not always about the kilowatts, but the smooth, effortless torque that these engines produce. They're beautiful, aren't they?
The power's just there all the time. Not that you need much when you're just cruising around, cruising on the freeway.
Jerry, inside, it doesn't really look like this car really has done much work in its life.
No, it's had a relatively easy life prior to my custodianship of it. Yeah. All stock, all original. There's a couple character marks inside and around the car, but that's what makes a car my car.
Jerry, always awesome to catch up, mate. Thank you for attending Chryslers on the Murray for 2024, mate, and I hope you have a great rest of the weekend. Thank you.
Thanks, Fletch. We appreciate your work and what your production team do behind the scenes. Always good to watch. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, mate. Time for a 1980 Mitsubishi Lancer on today's show, and the reason that I'm picking on this guy is it's wearing a P plate. How are you, Luke?
Yeah, good, thanks. How are you, Fletch?
Good, mate, good. How cool are you? Classic car, 1980 Lancer. You just don't see these anymore.
You don't? No, that's right.
How do you feel? P plate on one of these?
Yeah, it's definitely different. You don't see many of them around, especially with P plates on them.
Luke, this is fantastic stuff. We've got an original car here, 28,000 kilometres. The spare wheel doesn't even look like it's ever left the well. We look at the jack on the left of that and that beautiful blue paint. That's never been out. The interior is amazing. Who used to own this car? What can you tell us with the history?
So it was some old lady in Melbourne, and she unfortunately passed away and sort of sat in a shed for about 9 years. And then, it got sold to my dad. Where it is now.
God bless that lady, hey? And what a racy lady she would have been. She had a brand new Mitsubishi Lancer, a 5-speed manual, and she obviously took good care of it, and I think that that's really nice. Luke, thank you very much for helping to keep the dream alive, mate, and thanks for coming along to Chryslers on the Murray in this Mitsubishi Lancer. Have a go at this for 2024. Cheers, mate.
Thank you, Fletch.
Time for a big car on the Chryslers on the Murray episode for 2024. Beautiful car as well. How are you, Brian?
I'm good, thanks, Fletch. How are you?
Good, mate. Good. You got two outstanding cars here, the 1970 Sport Fury GT.
Yes, thank you very much.
Also to the Roadrunner over there on the other side.
Both in the rapid transit system in 1970 as well.
Yeah, isn't it awesome back in the days of the Scat Pack and the performance cars, the way they did things at Chrysler, Dodge back in the United States back in those times?
They had all the coolest names and all the words for everything and colours. Like, it was really the best time, I reckon, in that era.
Now, this car here behind us, Brian, a pretty well stock standard interior, a two-door car. Yep. As I said earlier, big car, two-door car, just beautiful, mate.
Yeah, it's bank manager's hot rod was kind of the thinking of it, you know, a luxury full-size car with a bit of horsepower behind it, so nice appointment inside, air conditioning, all the stuff you'd ever want, and a bit of power behind it, so
Tell us the story, Brian. Where did you get it from? What's the history of it?
I found this car on eBay in Wisconsin with terrible photos, a terrible ad, a terrible eBayer. Like, I wasn't very good at communicating. I took a punt on it. I didn't pay a lot of money for it. It was missing its engine. But when it turned up, I was actually basically happy with it. It had a little more rust because of the area that it came from, and that's how I ended up getting the car.
Now, at home, you're a very clever guy. It's your business to restore these things. Yep. And look, the proof is in the pudding with what you do. Now, the Blue Roadrunner over there, you've actually driven that across the United States. Interesting story, that one.
Well, it's a long one, but yeah, cutting it very briefly, I bought it as a bare shell in New York through a friend of mine, and as a factory V code, 6-barrel 4-speed car, so pretty low production, pretty rare and very desirable. Best colour combination you could nearly ask for if you're going to order a car new. And in 25 days, I built the car with a lot of major work going on in between to a running, driving, insured car, and then drove it from New York to San Francisco in about 7 days.
Brian, lovely catching up with you. He's the sort of guy we could talk a lot longer with about his cars, the experience too that he has with the Mopars, which, well, there's a lot of that on the paddock this weekend, but it's good to get up close and personal with cars of this calibre. Mate, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks for the interview with Fletch, and I always enjoy classic Restos, and you've got to get out there and watch some more of it.
Yeah, good on you, mate. And you keep up your great work too. Thanks, Brian.
Good on you, mate. Thanks.
Well, there you go. That's a wrap. What a show. That was absolutely enormous. You've seen just some of Chryslers on the Murray for 2024. Spotlight emphasis on the VE, VF and VG models, and of course celebrating 100 years of Chrysler. I hope you've enjoyed it. Until next week, no matter where you're watching Classic Restos from, please ride and drive safe. I'm Fletch. Thanks for watching.
You can like and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/ClassicRestosTV and watch catch-up episodes at shannons.com.au.
Classic Restos is proudly brought to you by Shannons, where you can sign up to be a member of the Shannons Club, your local Holden certified service centre, Pace Farm the enjoyable egg, and Heron Forbes Machinery House, where you can buy online.